Did you ever stop and wonder if you could be related to everyone with your last name?
Just think if you're a Lincoln, how you'd be congratulated if Honest Abe were someone you could claim.
To clear up any mystery, just check your family history.
Genealogy's the name of the game. Now some ancestors you'll find you want to hide,
but most of them will fill your heart with pride.
Oh, your family tree, your family tree. Check your genealogy, find who was who and how who came to be. On your family, 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 family tree.
Welcome to the Genealogy Radio Show, the radio show that's keeping you in the loop. And our show in this series deals with surnames and sources. And we're delighted to air from beautiful Kilkee in Radio Cork. We've got some lovely information on the Ó Siodhacháin or the Sheehan surname. And Sheehan, looking at our source of Edward MacLysaght, Irish families, their names, arms and origins, with 243 coat of arms illustrated, is one of Ireland's most numerous surnames. It adds and combines the alternative spellings of Sheehan and Sheehan, Sheehan, Seahan. So 80% would be in the EE bracket and EA would be 20%. And it holds the 75th place in the list with an estimated total population in Ireland of about 8,500 persons of that names. The great majority were born in County Cork or on its borders in the adjacent counties of Kerry and Limerick. And the names should be Sheehan rather than Sheehan with the A, because in Irish it's Ó Siodhacháin, said to be derived from the word Sheach, peaceful. But Celtic scholars doubt this actually, because the sept originated as a Dalcashian one, and we're going to be talking a lot about the Dalcash today and some of the other surnames that are involved there. And the passing of the centuries from nearly 2,000 years finds their modern representatives south of this. So it's seldom met in English with its prefix O. So it's patronymic, which we've talked about in our surnames and sources, O, grandson of, and mock, meaning son of, doesn't really happen now with the Sheehan surname. The name has little present-day associations with Connacht, but it must be stated that in medieval times there was a sept of the Imania called the Ó Siodhacháin, and they were hereditary trumpeters to the O'Kellys, the O'Lonergans being the harpers to the same chief. The Ó Siodhacháin, mentioned in the Fiance of 1543 as chief of his nation in southern County Galway, was not, as might be supposed, an Ó Sheehan. Ó Siodhacháin is somewhat a grotesque attempt of a foreign official to write down the name O'Shaughnessy. So that's a very interesting account, because people might be assuming that there's a Sheehan in Galway in this. There are distinguished persons, being Catholic priests, Patrick Augustine Sheehan, 1852 to 1913, Canon Sheehan, author of My New Curate, and Richard Alphonsus Sheehan, the Bishop of Waterford, writer and champion of the Irish language. And they have a coat of arms. But just to have a look at that Dalcashian origin and what that means. To have Dalcashian or be Dalcatian is to be in that Munster region of Thomond, which extended out to Limerick and parts of Tipperary. It had far more of an extent in the 12th century, and I have written extensively on this, actually, its original extent, becoming County Clare with its modern day bounds when it had restricted somewhat just to County Clare. So we have Cormac Cass, a semi-legendary figure from the 2nd and 3rd AD, appears in Dalcash genealogies as the son of Alam, or Ollam, the king of Munster, and brother to Ogun, founder of the Oganachta. Modern scholars view this lineage as a later fabrication to legitimise the Dalcash claims against rivals, with the group more likely originating from the Deshi Tushkat, northern Deshi, vassals of the Oganachta who expanded into Thomond, modern-day County Clare, and so on. Cormac Cass fathered multiple sons, with Cass born 347 AD as the primary progenitor of the Dalgash, giving the tribe its name People of Cass. Cass had up to 13 sons, including Bloyd, the senior line, and they would be the E. Bloyd, King of Thomond, Cashin, the E. Cashin, Angus, Ciaun, Naharach, Kinnell Fermac or E. Fermac, and other sons, including Lou Delvey, ancestor of the Delbna groups, and E. or Hugh or Luskin. The tribal groupings are divided into major kindreds. So we've got the E. Bloyd producing the O'Brien kings of Thomond, the O'Kennedys of Ormond. Remember, the O'Kennedys were expulsed to Ormond by the McNamaras, and we have this on Cothram Thurlock. We know this for definite. And E. Cashin from Cashin, the McNamara lords of Clancullen, Clancy, the O'Grady's, and the E. Fermac, the O'D leaders, and the O'Quinns. Further septs emerged, and we've got them including the McMahons, the O'Gorman, the Maloney, the McInernys, and these groups dominated Thomond from the 10th century and peaked and grouped where you have the introduction of surnames in the 11th and 12th centuries as well. So Cormac Cass's immediate family, he was reputedly married to Samar or Sive, daughter of Fionn McCool, no less, and he died at Dultraleague from battle wounds. Traditional pedigrees list his direct sons, including Conal and the ancestor of the Dalgash through his own sons. The genealogies vary, and the Sheehans belong to this genealogy. They belong to a Dalcashan fabric and past. And the common pedigree from Cormac Cass is really important because it positions them as explicit and so on. The primary dynasties, we're doing up a list in our blog supporting this show, but we know that we have the E. Bloyd, the O'Briens, Kings of Thomond, and the High Kings of Brian Boru, dominating North Munster from the 10th century, a junior branch of the E. Bloyd, seizing leadership, leading to the O'Brien dynasty. So these tribal dynasties start to go into the surnames and the linkages that we have. And you've got from kings to warlords and so on. And there's a great deal written on this. The other septs and lines, such as the E. Cashin, gave rise to the McNamaras, lords of Clancullen, the Clancys, the O'Grady's, the Considine families, to name just a few. The E. Fermac, you have the O'Quinns and the O'Ds, and the additional kindreds, the O'Currys, the McMahons, the Maloneys, the McMahons, and we have the Sheehans belonging to this as well. Genetic projects like the Dalcashan DNA confirm an R1b L21 DF13 Z253 haplotypes amongst these surnames, linking to Thomond origins, and diaspora spreads them globally and core populations remaining in Ireland. The Sheehan and the Dalgash connection, meaning descendant of the peaceful one, belongs to the Dalgash tribal group, descending from Cormac Cass through the eponymous Cass with roots in the lower Conello barony of County Limerick. The principal Sheehan family served as a clan within this Dalcatian federation alongside the major houses like the O'Briens, the McNamaras, the McMahons in the Kingdom of Thomond, ruled by the O'Briens from the 12th century today. Today, the Sheehans remain numerous in Limerick, Clare, Cork and Kerry, and that source would come from John Grenham. Historical stories and roles place the Sheehans as a peaceful minor clan under Dalgash overlords, and their crest featuring a dove bearing a laurel leaf symbolising peace, linked to Brian Boru, the High King, who defeated the Vikings at Clontarf in 1014. The Sheehans shared in Thomond's rise from vassal status to Munster dominance, centred near Killaloe on Lough Derg. Some accounts suggest an alternate role as trumpeters for O'Kelly, but that is actually the O'Shaughnessys. So it's important to note that. The Ó Siodhacháin chiefs resided in Lower Conello, part of Thomond's Gaelic order, suppressed a lot earlier than the 17th century, limited through Anglo-Norman invasion in the 12th and 13th century, where the territory of Thomond diminished. And the Sheehans, we've got early migrants like Thomas Sheehan and Cornelius Sheehan arriving in Maryland in 1679 aboard the Increase from Youghal. Modern bearers, often R1B L21 carriers, cluster in Munster with diaspora in the US and Australia. So an absolute fascinating links of sources for our family surname names for our overseas listeners, and we're delighted to be able to share that with you today. The Sheehan families are generally regarded then as Dalcashan, whose medieval power base lay in Thomond, which was a lot more extensive than County Clare is today, especially Lower Conello in West Limerick, and they appear in the sources as minor allies and vassals of the O'Briens and the wider Dalgash Confederation. We really have some wonderful alliances as well with the O'Mahonys, and we have had Tori Sheehan, who's done a lot of research on this for the show today, and who is a Sheehan herself, of course. So the major Dalcashan dynastic lines that the Sheehans fit into join with the McNamaras, the powerful lords of Clancullen in Clare and Thomond and supporters of the O'Brien, the McMahons of Cork in West Clare, another principal Thomond lineage, of which the O'Sheehans are a lineage as well. And then we have other well-known Dalgash surnames, the Gradys, the Hogans, the Hurleys, the Hehers, the Hickeys, the Kennedys, the O'Regans, McGraths, MacLysett, Noonans, and Kennedys, Bolans, Clancy, Casey, Carneys, Hayes, Hannon, Hartigan. So loads. It'd be lovely to do a full list of those for you, and really to help with the historical context of the notable surnames and so on. So the surname Sheehan, first found in Thomond, which was County Limerick, because we don't have these counties or shires back even when the Thomond is known as the area. But they are found in County Limerick, Limnock, located in southern Western Ireland in the province of Munster. And the original Gaelic form is peaceful, and in the United States, Sheehan is 1,302nd most popular surname, with an estimated 22,383 people of that name. So when you look at 8,500 in Ireland in the 1950s, it's quite significant. In Australia, though, it's the 666th most popular surname, with an estimated 5,881 people with that name. The 19th century brought a massive reduction in Ireland's population, and it meant that Irish people had two options: starve or emigrate. Early passenger and immigration lists have shown mainly early immigrants bearing the names of Sheehan. And in modern times, the majority of the Sheehans are found in counties Cork, Kerry and Limerick. So that is a very interesting observation as well. The name is believed to have its roots in the Irish word Sheehan, translates as peace, and it's a testament to the long-standing Irish tradition of valuing peaceful resolutions and maintaining harmonious relationships with each other as well. So that comes from John Grenham, and it's a lovely source. And it's nice to think that the tradition has it that the Sheehan clan found its seat in Lower Conello, and they were part of the Kingdom of Thomond, ruled by the O'Briens from the 12th century, and a bit earlier actually, and the most famous leader being Brian Boru. Popularity is quite significant there. Now in Sheehan, 1901, there were 6,893 in the 1901 census. So quite a popular surname, and given as farmer and agricultural aspects. So a wonderful map by Barry Griffin maps, barrygriffin.com. Great to be able to see distribution. So you don't see anything in the top half of the country. You see them, the highest point being certain parts of southern Galway and over vaguely in a conglomerate in the east, which would have been modernity, bringing them there for work and so on, but very clustered in the south. So you're going to come across a lot of Sheehans, very concentrated, so on. And you have Michael Sheehan, who became the Archbishop of Sydney, remembered for his work on behalf of the last Irish-speaking area of Waterford in Ring. Very good reference there. He lived from 1870 to 1945. Canon Patrick Sheehan, the poet and novelist, very famous in his day in the 19th century and early 20th, to Glenar and the Graves of Kilnamona and Luke Delmege. The Irish actor Robert Sheehan, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Neil Sheehan and Susan Sheehan, legendary Irish folk musician John Sheehan of the Dubliners. So we've got some sources of Ask About Ireland and the origins giving this for our Dalcash, and our shield of arms, which may derived the chevron shape symbolising the historical family home, the importance of home for family members through the years, and the safety and peace this provided to those who were most important. The arrow signified the early family's readiness for battle and affliction when threatened, and it stood as the testament to family members' success during times of war, and a warning to those that may cross them. The black colour, known as sable, symbolised constancy and the enduring nature of the family. It was a symbol of family longevity through time. The blue colour, known as azure, represented the family's loyal and truthful nature and their reputation for trustworthiness during the Middle Ages. So a wonderful aspect of that, of the variants and the bits and pieces. And we scoped the west and south of Ireland for this show when a family name of Sheehan with its variants, all of which are related to the name Sheehan, the family is believed to translate to peace. And we love to have that in the genealogy radio show. So we look at patronymics, we look at sources, we look at so on. So just to go back to the Dalcash, it wasn't originated until 934 in the Annals of Inishfallen. And the next mention of Dalcash is in a monastic compilation of Chronicon Scotorum, and in the year of 951 it records the death of Canada, son of Lorcan, who was the uncle of Brian Boru. So we have got quite a lot of things in the annals, and we like to get our researchers to look at the UCC Celt, which already has been done for this show, and we'll have it in the blog and so on, to understand the surnames that belong to the Dalcashian clans, the dynastic group of related clans associated with the Kingdom of Thomond, encompassing what is now County Clare and portions of County Kerry, Limerick, Tipperary and Offaly. And the most powerful family, of course, gets to be the O'Briens as such, so it does really eclipse probably the other families that would be even important. So the Irish clan system was generally used from the Middle Ages right through until the 17th century, and the word clan or clown means family in Irish. They dominated the country for centuries, and from ancient times Irish society was organised around these traditional kinships, groups of clans, and the Sheehan clan provide fabric of this, and they trace their name to the original of the Dalcash in Munster, like you'd have the Neil in Ulster and the Bruin in Connacht. Dalcash means people or children of Cass, the 5th century king of Munster and ancestor of the Dalcash, rising to power, and that's where you start to see where it goes backwards in putting in the sources, and they create the sources in antiquity and use them in later times for propagandic purposes to gain legacy and so on, just as we're going from kings to warlords. So that's all for our today show, and we're delighted to be able to have brought it to you. Our show is podcast out and also repeated on a Sunday, so it airs today, and thank you very much for listening.
Did you ever stop and wonder if you could be related to everyone with your last name?
Just think if you're a Lincoln, how you'd be congratulated if Honest Abe were someone you could claim.
To clear up any mystery, just check your family history.
Genealogy's the name of the game. Now some ancestors you'll find you want to hide,
but most of them will fill your heart with pride.
Oh, your family tree, your family tree. Check your genealogy, find who was who and how who came to be. On your family, 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 family tree.